Hi, I'm the Red Shirt Lady. Today I'm going to be making two different kinds of granola. They're both easy. They're way less expensive than store-bought cereal or granola, and they're healthier. So the first one is peanut butter granola, and the second one is just a basic granola that you can customize with your own extra ingredients. So let's get started. So we're going to start with just a basic granola, and you can choose your ingredients for this. And so we want about 1.5 cups of nuts, and I have chosen these slivered almonds. I just get them at Aldi. They're pretty inexpensive. The bag is 1.5 cups, so that works out great. And I really like to toast them first. It really gives them a better flavor. And if you toast them a little bit before you put the other ingredients in, the flavor comes out better, and then it will further toast as it's baking. So I've already done this. You can see how they're just kind of lightly brown. And then I'm going to add them to 3 cups of quick oats. Now this is not instant oats, but like the minute oats. Just put those all in there. And then we want at least 1/2 cup of seeds. So you can choose what kind. I'm going to put 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds. And I'm going to put a little bit of sesame seeds too. And then we're going to put our liquid on that. So I've already melted 1/2 cup of coconut oil, and then we're going to add about 1/4 cup of honey. So when it comes to the 3/4 mark, you know you got it. And then 1/4 cup of maple syrup. And I do this because when I put all honey, it just tastes like too much honey to me. It's pretty strong, and so I think the maple syrup kind of tempers the flavor a little bit, and you don't really taste the maple. It just is a good blend. Okay, so we want to stir that up just a tad before we stick that in, and then pour it all over. And mix that up. Then we want to coat the pan with a little bit of oil. I like to use like a spray coconut oil. And then just put it right back in the same pan. Spread it out. And we want this to just get to a little bit of a crunchy texture, but it won't harden all the way until it cools. But we want it to be at least somewhat brown. So I'll show you that as soon as I pull it out. We're gonna bake it at 375 for about 20 minutes and turn it over halfway. So this has been pulled from the oven and cooled for about 15 minutes, and you want it to be nice and brown like this. But after about 15 minutes, it's going to start getting crunchy, and so you want to scrape it all from the bottom of the pan so it doesn't stick, and then come back when it's completely cooled, and we will add some more ingredients. And now that our granola is completely cooled, we put it back in the mixing bowl. We like to add chocolate chips, like about 1/2 cup. This is also the time when, if you wanted to add dried fruit, maybe craisins or something like that, really you can just add as much or as little of any dried fruit that you want. I just think it's better to put it in after than to put it in before you bake it. And then mix it up and put it in a canister. So now we're going to make peanut butter granola. And this makes twice as much as the other recipe. Kids really like it, so maybe this would be a good one to start out with if you're not used to granola. And so right here I have 1/3 cup of coconut oil already melted in any kind of saucepan. I'm just trying to make it really visible for you here. And then 1 cup of peanut butter. I use chunky because that's what I like. And so I put a little extra in to account for the volume of the nuts, because I want to make sure that there's like a whole cup of moist peanut butter in there. And then a cup of, I like to use dark brown sugar. You could also substitute with date sugar or coconut sugar, something like that. And that seems like a lot of sugar, but it's going to cover 6 cups of oats instead of the 3 cups we used last time for the other recipe. And so you're just going to stir this and let that all get mixed in and melted together. And as soon as it's kind of the sugar is not grainy anymore and it's all mixed, then it will be ready to pour over the oats. So this is ready. We're going to pour it over 6 cups of quick oats, like minute type oats, not instant oats. And I like to get everything out and not waste. Make sure it's all coated. Sometimes you have to bring up some of those lumps from the bottom and just kind of smooth them out to make sure all of those oats get coated. And then we're just going to put it right in the pan. You don't really need to grease it this time. This is pretty full, and this is an oblong pan, like a 7.5 by 11. So halfway through, you're really going to need to stir this, turn it over. You could actually use a bigger pan than this if you wanted. This is going to go in the oven at 325 this time for about 25 minutes.